Everybody, Andy here again. Yes, back again after the first little foray into this yesterday. And I must admit, it was good to get back into it. Good to sort of do something like this again, but also to see the responses, either through videos because and the comments that I've got. But at least I think I've counted about three people who've already said, "Oh, I think I might have to do a video and get back into this as well." And I've already seen one from Mick in Florida, and I know Ken's threatened to do one, and I've just seen Jim over there in Atlanta in Georgia put a video up, and others have said Tim up there in Carolina, as I think it's North Carolina. Sorry if I got that wrong, Tim. He's threatened to do a video as well, so it's coming back. It's really good. It's really good to see that. I'm sure it's helping to sort of lift the spirits of all of us who are in various forms of lockdown. You're sort of trapped in your houses. You can't get. When if you do go out, if you're allowed to go out, you can only obviously visit certain places. All your usual haunts, coffee places, bars, restaurants, etc., are all shut, so you can't do that. So it's great to be able to do this and to connect, because that's what we need to do. I think we need to connect. It's what we used to do back in the old days. People have talked about that, about the sort of community that we had. And for those of you who are watching this, because I'm putting this on YouTube, but I have posted it, sort of shared it on Facebook and Twitter and that, as well as I'm sure everybody else is doing. That's the modern way of doing things, isn't it? But it's we had this sort of community back. We all stumbled upon the old YouTube site as it was back in the day. And as I think someone said yesterday, it used to have this tagline underneath. It used to say, broadcast yourself. And that's what it was about. It was about individual people putting out videos of any type. It could be a vlog. It could be something far more creative than this. And some of the videos that were going about even then were really good. But the site changed. It got taken over by Google. It started doing advertising and all that sort of stuff. And people were getting money out of it. So the whole sort of ethos, if you wanted to call it that, changed, which is why people started to drift away. They got frustrated, and other things came along like Facebook and Twitter and things like that as well, which took our attention elsewhere. But back then we were connecting via these videos, completely different world. As I said, and no pandemics or anything like that. We just did it for whatever reason. Maybe we're just getting interested in the sort of technology, saw something then. A lot of the people involved were sort of creative people, I think you can put it there, but just ordinary people from, as I said, from all over the world, who just happened to stumble upon other people's videos. And back then you were allowed to, like if someone posted a video like I did yesterday, some of the other people who maybe made a video because of that could add it as like a response. So you created this little continuing story underneath, which is how you discovered other people and how I discovered all of these people. It must admit, back in the day, a lot of those people were initially in America, but then I started finding friends all over the place. I had comments yesterday from somebody in Austria, for example. Most of the other people were in America. But it was an amazing time and an amazing group of people, and it's so good to see some of those faces back, and they're sort of gradually creeping back, and maybe we're into sort of a renaissance of this whole idea and telling people what it's like around the world, because I learned so much about other people's lives around the world through the videos that we used to do back in that particular time. As I said, 2006, 2010, that sort of time before it started to fizzle out. And actually, I did, because this whole thing in some form or another actually sort of changed my life in lots of ways. It encouraged me to go and do other things, as I know it did other people. It gave them the confidence and the ideas, maybe, that people actually did listen sometimes to some of the things that you put out there. So, you might go and progress that into other ways. I do sort of radio DJing, but I've done other sort of comparing and things like that. And it gives you sometimes the confidence to speak in public. It's a two-way street. And I actually did a thing over here in St Leonard's called the Bavard Bar. For anybody who doesn't know what that is, and I'm sure that's most of you, it's a bit like a sort of watered down TED talks, I suppose, not necessarily scientific, run by a guy called Tim, and he does them every month here in St Leonard's, and also does one in Eastbourne as well. And you get three random, well, not random, but three ordinary people get up on the stage and do like a 15, 20-minute talk about whatever takes their fancy. It could be literally anything. And the audience members, when they walk in, have no idea what the three topics are going to be, which is part of the excitement for it. But I did one all about this, all about my YouTube experience. Called it, I think it was Confessions of a Middle-Aged Vlogger. And if I can find the link, because there's a video of it, I'll put it down below, because it explained my story and how and where this sort of YouTube vlogging experience took me. It took me to America a couple of times to do a couple of road trips, to Chicago, to Nashville, and up the Californian coast from Los Angeles to San Francisco. Things I probably would never have done. Certainly wouldn't have done it with the great people I did it with if it hadn't have been for this site. So that's one of the things, that's one of the reasons that we got involved in this. But it would be a good idea if other people, maybe some of my friends locally, give this a go. You never know. It's a good way of getting your thoughts out there. And as I said, clearing your head and concentrating on something else gives you a sort of slight little focus apart from, the four walls. And, you can only so many books and CDs that you can get through at one particular time, something I will probably talk about at another time. So just to round up this one, I think I've got the bug again. I think I'm already thinking of topics for the next couple of 3 days. So great to see all you people. Thanks very much for all the people who have commented, who've watched and got involved, and especially if, like I've just seen, as I mentioned, a couple of people put videos up, not watched them yet, but great to see some of those faces coming back. Great to see some of the names in the comments as well. Long may that continue, and hopefully we're on a roll here. For all the wrong reasons maybe, but it's a nice little crumb of comfort in these strange and wonderful times. And I'm just about to go and try and brave the supermarket out, my one trip for the week, go and stock up on provisions and see what it's like, and how it's working now with the way that the lockdown and everything like that. Maybe I shall report back on that. Anyway, I shall leave it there because I can see time is creeping on, as it always used to do with my videos. Anyway, I'll speak to you again soon. Goodbye.